I recently watched the Evan Rachel Woods interview on the Andrew Gold Heretics podcast, and there's something that Evan said that I haven't been able to get out of my head. And it was when she was talking about how she and Marilyn Manson met each other and got into a relationship. She was 19, he was 38. The allegations of what she experienced are so shocking, I won't really go into them here. But she talks about the victim blaming that she, like many survivors, has experienced with people saying things like, what did she expect dating someone like him? And she flipped that on its head and said, what did he expect? And I'm going to play that little snippet from the clip quickly here.
Why doesn't anybody ever say, what did he expect?
Oh, yeah.
You brought a 19-year-old girl onto a set, gave her absinthe, took off all her clothes and penetrated her in front of a room of people and while cameras were rolling, and you expected her to feel in power and in control of the situation. You expected her not to come forward years later and say that she felt taken advantage of. I'm sorry. What did he expect?
And I thought about those words again this week when the news came out about the new charges against Andrew and Tristan Tate. Andrew Tate now faces 42 charges, including rape, trafficking, and indecent images of a child. So in other words, child sexual exploitation content. His brother Tristan Tate is facing 17 charges, which also include rape and physical abuse. When we talk about men like Andrew and Tristan Tate, men who beat and abuse and want to keep women submissive, here's what we need to ask from now on. What did he expect? Oh, they're facing years or decades in jail after beating and raping and creating sexual exploitation content of children. What did they expect? What did they expect? Yeah, of course they're facing jail. Tristan Tate allegedly beat his girlfriend, strangled her to the point of unconsciousness, and she found the courage years later to finally come forward. That's exactly what he should expect. What did Andrew Tate expect after creating a course literally instructing young men on how to pimp out their own girlfriends, make money off them, how to use emotional manipulation and coercive control to manipulate them into doing exactly what he wanted, even though they didn't want that life? What did they expect after creating that? Of course they're facing consequences. Of course they're facing decades in jail. Of course they're facing the entire destruction of this sick, misogynistic, vile, putrid pipeline of sewerage that they've created under the guise of a career and a legacy. Yeah, of course they're facing jail. No more asking, what did that woman expect getting into a relationship with a 38-year-old when she was 19? Didn't she expect to be abused? No. What did he expect?